Ladies and gents, this is the moment you waited for. Welcome to another episode of the Council of Six, a weekly in Dungeons & Dragons campaign fraught with all the drama and peril that will take your breath and steal your mind. My name is G.A. Lungaro, your DM for the night, and our current campaign is a story loosely based on my fantasy novel, Souls of Magic's Dawn, a homebrew built on D&D Beyond and played on the VTT of Foundry. During the stream, we won't be responding to your comments while we are in play, as to remain immersed in the story, but please still engage and comment as we go along. At certain points, we may try to go through the comments and interact with you all, because at the end of the day, we are presenting this for your enjoyment. But without any further ado, are you ready to leave all that's real behind? Because there's something breaking at the brick of every wall that's holding all that you know. So tell me, do you want to go to the Council of Six? And we are live. Welcome back, everyone. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Heart Council of Six. Souls of Magic's Dawn. And why don't I have a Talos card? Where's the Talos card?
And after all that complaining that you would have to change it, you don't even have it. What?
No, not that. I'm
for when I don't have a camera on, you mean?
Right.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be over your cameras, but
yeah, that's what I figured.
Not.
Oh! It's because
we're
of
just
this.
so used to seeing your
There you
beautiful
go.
face.
It's because I had my lens closed.
Gotcha.
To
Yeah.
have it off right now.
Yeah.
There you go.
If you're gonna turn it back on, just click. Yeah. Don't use the lens cap.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna leave the lens closed as well right now, because that way,
That's
if I'm
fine.
not using it, it doesn't get through.
Yeah. Sure thing. All right. Cool. So we're back for another episode. Not six. Souls of Magic's Dawn. We're on a brand new chapter of the story. Finally, everyone's level 10 now. And we have a new player, Harmony. Welcome, Harmony. Yay! Her character will be introduced during this session as well. For people who are watching or know, Harmony, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Oh, hi everybody. I'm Harmony and B. What else do you want to know? I don't know.
Whatever you want to say.
I'm doing this, guys.
Geek Series experience. How long have you been playing?
I've technically been playing since January, but I've been steeped in this stuff for years. And I'm excited to join everyone. And I apologize now for my character's accent. It's going to take a little bit to find her.
Have you heard some of mine?
No, that's fine, but you consider
Some of mine changed to different accents for the same character while mid-sentence.
That's
so.
I don't really do accents well, so
No.
all of my characters have my same voice.
That's fine.
Right.
That's perfectly fine.
I mean, while I try to do it, because there's NPCs and I'm playing so many different characters, I try to make them sound a little bit different at least.
Lunga, your accent.
Everyone, well, thank you, I appreciate it. But I don't beat myself up for it, and neither should anyone else that plays for this reason. Matt Mercer, Critical Role, are trained actors, and especially voice actors. This is what they do for a living. So they can do that kind of stuff, because that's their job, and that's what they're skilled and trained to do. Regular players, you don't have to be that great at accents and voices. Shit. Do your best, whatever you want to do, or be like Marie and just talk like yourself. That's all you. It doesn't matter. Whatever works for you.
They all have different personalities, same voice.
Mm-hmm. You change your pitch a little bit. Tiny's a little higher pitched than Hope. A little more
It
kitty.
depends. It depends.
Well, we'll just see how much of this is bullshit.
Yes, but so here we are, new chapter. Where we left off last time, after you defeated Oral, talked to the seers at Torellian Grove, found out some information. The god Ceridwen also came down. Oh, I didn't make Spencer his little tuft of fur. I gotta give you that. I gotta make that still. And what did I say I give you, by the way, Spencer? I gave you inspiration or advantage once per day.
Advantage. It's advantage.
Advantage, yeah, advantage on attack or save throw. I think it was. I'll watch the episode.
It's an
again.
advantage. I know that much.
But I think it was advantage. But yeah, so Ceridwen said events are moving quickly, and the evening lands were obviously in war, as you guys remembered when you were in Icewind Dale, that the Laotian forces had attacked coming from the Cardian Empire, and they had attacked the Evening Lands, so River Lords were kind of battling them off, and they were trying to talk to the elves and talk to the Castellian, the Kingdom of Castellamar as well, up to the north, and see if they could reach out to perhaps the elves in Dumanos as well, to find out what's going on. And he told you that you guys need to go back to River's End, and he sent you there with his godly magic, whooshed you back to River's End to be there where there's a meeting happening of the leaders of Evening Lands. Most of them you guys have met. When you're at the Battle of Ice Hall, you saw most of the River Lords were there. Some were missing, but most of them were there. There'll be a character that you remember from early on in the game, as this is the city that this all began. The very first episode, very first session, you guys met at the Inn of the Hearth's home to celebrate Lucius's birthday, and that's where they met Hope, because Hope wasn't with them. Everyone else were friends, and Hope met them there. And of that group of friends, only Vernick remains, as Lucius, Coda, and Donatus have all passed away. So you're the last of the Scorching Reapers. The last. Vernick.
All your friends passed away.
Well, I mean, technically, he's known you since the beginning of the session, too. You guys didn't meet there, but he knew them off-screen for years before we started. But yeah.
And they're all dead.
And that's where we're at, in River's End. You guys arrived here the previous night. You quickly went to the inn, got some rest, just went straight upstairs. You guys had easy. Holgurn has allowed you guys to stay there rent-free, so just went up, got some sleep, and now it's the next morning. As you're awakening, and ready to come down and begin the day, and that's where we shall start.
You said we stayed at Holgern's place, or he put us up in the river's
Yeah,
edge?
Holgurn runs. Oh, yeah, you weren't here at the beginning, but Holgurn runs the Inn of the Hearth's home. It's his establishment.
The Inn of the Hearth's home.
Yeah. It's all. By the way, to explain it to you as well, because everyone else knew. If anyone was read Dragonlance, it's kind of like that. It's like a giant trees, like kind of redwood trees there, and the Inn of the Hearth's home is in the tree, so it has like a stairway that leads up, so it's like high in the tree, this building, where it's at.
I'd probably get up, or Bear could probably get up pretty early, be down at the bar, drinking a fresh morning ale.
Okay. So as you come down, everyone else is Icon's gonna be there, but you don't have to be there yet. But as you come down, you see lots of people this early in the morning, seated at tables, and you see a dwarf behind a counter at the bar. As you come down, I'll put everyone else over here. This is where they'd be coming from. Stairs. Yeah, I'm just moving everybody else right now. Here you go. Just wanted to open the door.
No, I was trying to move the thing out of the way.
Yeah, Bear would be sitting over in the corner sipping an ale.
All by yourself? Okay. Holgurn sees you come down. Like, oh ho! Welcome, fellow. Your face I have not seen yet. Ah! Talos!
It's a pleasure.
Well met, Helgurn.
Glad to see you all have made it in. I do notice the absence of Coda, and Lucius, which seems very distressing.
Both did not make it.
As we have heard. As most of the Evening Lands have heard, because for your names, the unlikely heroes are known now across the lands. Taking down Oral was no small feat. Your feed to Dale, home, my kin. home of my ancestors as well. We are grateful for that. And from the other table, where you see all these very well-dressed lords, you recognize some of these faces from the meeting at Ice Hall, the Council of Ice Hall. You recognize Lord Damien Hollister, who was Lord of the Spokes, Lord Royher Dunmer, who was leader of Equus. You do also see Lady Huckle, who is Lady of Hearth, and Jarl Bjorn, of course, who is from Ice Hall. You see Lertzaz sitting there as well. You see Kethis Cathari, the elf you first met in the forest, the Linian Forest, when you were passing through on your way to Tunai and got captured by the elves. And he came with you and was with you guys in the Tribunal of the Forest, Tribunal of the Woods, where Hope was almost executed, being an unnatural being in these holy woods. You also see some unfamiliar faces. You see another elfin woman seated at the table next to Kethis. You do also see another lordly-looking person sitting at that table who you have not met yet. Presumably, you would assume he's from Evanfall, as that was the one nation that one riverland that wasn't represented at the Council of Ice Hall. And then the table across from them, you see other people that you do not recognize any of them, but they all seem to be wearing regalia of the different areas. So they seem to be either escorts or companions of the lords and ladies that have arrived here for this meeting.
As a court chair, would I know of any of these individuals or notice any have any familiarity with any of their regalia?
I mean, it depends on, because the Underdark's a weird place. There's a lot of people that rarely leave the Underdark. It depends on how well traveled you consider Beric.
I mean, I don't think that he would be very well traveled outside of the Underdark, but I mean, he would have spent a relative amount of time in the chambers of Gandolfa.
Yeah, I mean, I would say you would at least recognize Jarl Bjorn, because the Underdark is underneath Icewind Dale, for the most part. A large swath of it is under Icewind Dale. So you would recognize Jarl Bjorn, and there's the other Viking fellow there, Sir Ragnar Frostmane, who appears to be, same regalia as Jarl. So he appears to someone you might have seen in Ice Hall or Icewind Dale. The rest is River Lords, unless you've gone further north up through the Evening Lands, you wouldn't recognize. I mean, you might recognize some of the regalia as being learned. I would say you could, if you want to give me a check to see if you recognize where they're from. You wouldn't know the people, but you could know where they are from. So I would say insight check.
Insight?
Yes, sir.
That I can do for you, sir. Nope. 6.
6. Yeah. You recognize them as River Lords, and you recognize them as important people, obviously, perhaps, leaders of these locations. But you can't place which one is from which area or which city.
Sounds good.
Talos would like to, recognizing many of them, jump up on the table here and start to perform a song that tells them the tale of what happened.
Oh, yes. Give me a performance check. Mm-hmm. Most indubitably. We don't see much bardish stuff like this from Talos, so it's exciting when it happens.
Oh my gosh. At least I got a +7 though, but yikes. It's like my Baldur's Gate rolls are coming through to DND again.
Yeah.
Don't you go all Will Wheaton on us.
All right. I mean, 10 is not horribly bad. You see most of the responses as being very somber. They're not.
Well,
I wouldn't
there
say
were many
they're.
somber parts of the song. You know, is very.
Yeah, I would say they're not. They're not very inspired by the song. Meaning that there's a feeling of dread is not the word I'm looking for. Wariness.
Too soon. No, wariness.
That they can wariness that even after all their efforts and the efforts of the unlikely heroes, can they win this? Can they stop Leto? Even with the defeat of Oral. But the song, you see a few tears on a few of the faces. Kethis especially, because he remembers Coda and Lucius. Lucius being another elf is his as well. Yeah. So they kind of slowly raise their mugs. And some of them have glasses, and they give a little nod and take a drink as you end your performance.
Alright, Hope's gonna come down.
Yeah, Turdic would have heard the music and come down around the same time as Hope.
Well, you're all here. It's beautiful. Wonderful thing. He's like, hold on a minute. Come on up. And you see him turn around. He pulls out a big old platter. Steam rising from it as he comes out from behind the kitchen area. This platter's filled with bacon. Yes, sausage links. Eggs. Flapjacks. All the accoutrements. Toast. All the accoutrements you would think. There's some sweet rolls. All the accoutrements of breakfast. He threw it all up there. You see a giant jug, carafes of water, carafes of juice, and if anyone wants ale or wine, you serve those.
Bless you.
Thank you.
One flagon.
See, pull it up, wipes the bar, slams it down before you. Of course. You look familiar. I can see you're a bit of a dwerger, but unlike other hill dwarves, I don't have a distaste for my cousins from down below. How'd you get mixed up with this lot?
Well, they're passing through my home, and with the loss of one of their party members, they required some additional assistance and guidance through the Underdark, and it's an area I've traveled many of my years in, so I guess Grandolpha thought I could be of assistance to them. Here I am.
Kind of see a little gleam in his eye. Kind of have a little smile. He's like, didn't ask for the story of how you met them. You're here with them, still. Why are you here?
Well, as you heard my compatriots chipper tone describe, we may have taken a notch out of Leto's power, but there is still more to be done. And my mission is to bring Leto to justice, as it were. My mission for Grandalfa and my clan is not complete.
You see Laird Sa walk over, tiefling, purple hair. And she comes over and has her arms crossed. She looks at everyone. She's like, well, you all made it. She does look at Barrick, and she goes like, you're sure there's a little more to it.
Sorry, what?
Or, I'm sure there's a little more to why you are here. Or, no one joins the unlikely heroes temporarily in that fashion, unless they die or are forced away. You're here. You're prophesized to be one of them.
Lirzar, we didn't all make it here. We lost a lot of good people on this trip, and I'm still not sure why we're doing all this.
I think I told you the story that in this multiversal plane of existence we have, as I come from another plane, and we had similar gods, and I had one that was kind of a mirror of Leto, and it was a very similar prophecy, and it destroyed my world, and I was the last remaining survivor. I was able to escape here, and it has become my mission to stop this from happening in other worlds, because there seems to be a cascading effect that is affecting all planes. And this world seems to be a linchpin. And if it occurs here, all the planes will fall. So it's not only the fate of this world, but the fate of the multiverse as well.
I want to ask you a question.
Of course.
Do you know if Latios took my sister? Because he seemed to have taken people from all my other friends. I have yet to see my sister.
You see Lerza's eyes turn to Holgirn, and he looks at her, and he kind of has a somber look in his face. And she looks back. She's like, I can't tell you for certain. But seeing as what has occurred to everyone involved in this, and everyone has been a unlikely hero, I would not put it out of the realm of possibility. The how, why, where, when, if she still is, if she doesn't, is unknown.
There's 3 more captured that we need to free, correct?
Of the souls, yes. And she looks over at the other table, which is kind of an important of this meeting. So, you guys want to finish up your breakfast? As soon as you're done, please come join us so we can begin. And she walks away and heads back over to...
She still makes me uneasy. She's not telling us everything.
Holgirn wiping his hands with a bar towel. He's like, Lass, sometimes there's things that just can't be told. Sometimes there's things that won't be told. Sometimes there's things that are still unknown. Lerza is doing her best. Unfortunately, because she is not of this realm, she is bound by certain rules that the rest of us are not.
You're a lot more insightful than most of the other dwarven kind that I've met.
I've been around. Been around. Give me an insight check.
Sure. Let's see if this one's better. 16.
As he's talking, you're kind of you're looking in his eyes, and you're kind of drawn into them, and you feel a kinship, but it's more than a kinship of that you're dwarves. You feel a religious or faith kind of kinship, perhaps, that involves Govnu. And as you keep looking in, you kind of see a glint in his eyes, and you feel a sense of warmth overcome you. And just as you start to feel it, it disappears, and you just hear his voice continuing what he was saying.
Just gonna put out my arm in for a good old clasp and just say, Barrack, Clanforge Cleaver, well met.
Holgirn Battlehammer. And his grip is incredibly strong.
For most, yeah, I would say probably for most, yeah, it's pretty strong. After we had felled Oro, we had a conversation with a number of individuals in the of the Fae, and they advised me that you and I may share some talents, and you may be able to help with an armament question I may have for you.
See him right as of right now. He's not dressed in his armor or anything like that. He's just kind of dressed in his breeches and one of those white linen shirt as he's working behind a bar, towel over his shoulder. From behind the bar, you see him reach down. He lifts up this gleaming battle hammer. It's bright, almost like stainless steel, polish, shining. You see runes of Govnu in there as well, and they're glowing brightly. And he kind of spins it around. And he's like, You could say I have a little bit of skill. He puts it back down again.
I would say that your services were, if you crafted that, properly prophesized.
Well, after this stuff is done here, we'll take a walk down to my workshop. We'll see what we can do for you.
Raises his glass, and Bear could start heading towards the other table.
So there's a bench there, conveniently 4 seats for you guys to sit down if you want to sit down on the bench.
Strange.
Yeah, Tiny's gonna go ahead and head over there. Or Hope's gonna go ahead and head over there too.
Tiny, where did she come from?
Well, like, I'll be over there 1 second, guys. I'm just finishing up my food here. No.
I could see him, like, the sausage, just all these...
I'm sure he's stuffing the rest of them in his bag too. He like took the plate and like.
After another minute of just by myself, just shoving them down my throat, I'm just gonna go
Sorry,
over
one more time?
Nothing.
As you come back, Turnick, you still got, like, grease and stuff dripping down your chin. You still got some sausage you're shoving in there. You see the one gentleman with the gray hair at the other table kind of give a, like, that look as you sit down.
Hope brought her cup with her, and she's just slowly sipping away while she's sitting with you guys.
So all here. Guess it's another meeting of the powers that be in the evening lands, eh? It's my inn, so let's just call it the Council of the Last of the Herzog. Aye. And they all kind of look up, and so Lord Damien Hollister says, "Fair enough, Holgern. Fair enough." And he takes a deep draft of his mug. Kethis stands up and he looks at you guys like, "I'm so glad to see you guys, but Holgern has informed me of the loss of Coda, Donatus, and Lucius. I know that their memory will forever stay with me as I traveled with you for that short time." And he does look over at Barrick and Talos, who he had not met as yet, and he's like, "Forgive me, I am Kethis Cathari, Ranger of Luminos, nephew to the King, Prince of the Luminary Elves. And you are?"
I am Talos, the Bard.
Barrick, the Forge Cleaver clan, officer of the Grand Alpha's army.
"It is indeed a pleasure." And he takes a seat, and Holgern's like, "Well, Cam, how about we get some updates on this war? We know they're looking pretty bad. Jarl Bjorn?" "Ah, yes." Jarl Bjorn stands up. He's like, "It has been a horrible battle, but we have managed to fight them off. Thank you to the unlikely heroes for that amazing effort at the Battle of Icehall. We have managed to hold off Laotian advances, and eventually the horsemen from Lord Dunmer arrived from Evanfall, or from Equus as well, and we were able to secure the south. And now with Oral gone, and the snow starting to melt and the winter beginning to recede, things looking up. Things are looking much better than they were before." And Hollister stands up as well. He's like, "Yes, and we were able to head over to Evanfall and Hearth and free them of the attacks of the forces before they were the ones that almost fell. Luckily, we were able to free them in time for Lord Contrite to be able to join us for this meeting, as he was not at Icehall for the last. So right now we're under siege. All the major forts, cities, and strongholds of the Evening Lands still stand under our control. However, the forces of Lador are still out there, the forces of the Cardian Empire, who have dared not come to the Evening Lands in generations. under the sway of Leto and under his growing power, have managed the gall to come here and create this invasion. But as of right now, we are holding out unless more forces arrive, and things will not look as good. He takes a seat, and you see Kethis look over to the elven woman next to him, and he gives her a nod. She stands. She's like, "My name is Feyera Shadowdew. I am a diplomat from Duminos in the Morning Lands. Relations with our cousins," and she looks at Kethis, "and Luminos have been strained for thousands of years. However, after his visit to us, the Queen was swayed by the peril happening here, and we have long known, living in the Morning Lands, the threat that Leto poses, but never to this extent. So we have decided to lend whatever help we can for now. We can't add forces, but perhaps there's other things we can do." And she takes a seat as well. Holger looks at the rest of y'all. He's like, "So, what? We've heard bits and pieces of what happened. What happened, regale us. We heard the Bard's song, which was wonderful, but need to hear some words of oral. We need to make sure that this is done, and Terrellian Grove is free, as well as the Dale."
Seems like everything has been freed, and we've been able to defeat with great loss all the areas we've come across so far. There's 3 more areas, though, I think we must do.
And Lerzah stands up. She's like, "Yes, you speak of the souls, Hope."
Yes.
And she looks at everyone else, and they kind of give these confused looks that they understand, but they don't understand, because this has been more of the realm of Lerzah that's been dealing with this more mystical and prophetical side of this invasion. Whereas everyone else is more looking at it from a military side rather than this religious mystical side. And she looks at everyone as they kind of look at her quizzingly. She's like, "I've explained this to you all. Leto's power will remain extremely high unless all the 12 souls that he has tried to capture to bring about his avatar are freed. The unlikely heroes have managed to free 9 of those souls so far. There are 3 left, and from what I can tell, they're most likely in the Morning Lands, which also happens to be the base of Leto's power, especially within the Cardian Empire. I don't see any other way than for the unlikely heroes to make their way across the sea." And Lady Hakel kind of looks up. She's like, "And where shall they leave from, Holgirn? We have ports here, certainly, but they are south of the Bridge of Sorrows. So they would have to land somewhere in Duminos, cross the mountains, cross the Great Plains to go north, which would take an ungodly amount of time and effort, if they would even make it. Duminos apparently seems well enough to allow that, but crossing the mountains, crossing the Great Plains, is a daunting task." And that's when Holgirn stands up. He's like, "All right, this is where I may have a solution. I think I told you all before we spoke last time that I was going to go north, talk to the Kingdom of Castellamar, who has hid behind Castle Pass for generations and has wanted nothing to do with the rest of the Morning Lands since the war with Rania, those many years ago. And they let me in. I talked to some of the emissaries of King Stormcaller, and they looked like they are open to talk, at least. So I'll be able to take you guys north, take you guys into the Kingdom of Castellamar, and if they allow it, we can take port from the Port of Arms and head directly to Port Neajaru, which is right outside the Cardian Empire."
That sounds like a good plan.
Seems like that
Well,
would be the most direct path to achieve the next step in taking Leto down a peg.
Only problem is I can't promise you anything.
What do you mean?
Gonna have to talk to him. Hopefully, we can convince him. With your help, maybe we can get this done. And as she does that, the elven woman, Farah Shedu, stands up and she's like, and the one thing I can do right now to help, perhaps. And she kind of looks over at the other table, and your eyes kind of follow hers, and you see another elven woman seated there as well. And Farah kind of beckons her over. That would be you, Kellyo.
Yep. So she gets up and she comes near. Yes.
This is Calliope, one of our more powerful sorcerers. I believe she can help you in this journey. She does have more knowledge of the Morning Lands than most of you might have. I know Talos is from Morningstar, at least for a while, so he would have a good idea of the area. And Turnik, I know you are from the Corpse Marshes, and that is right on the edges, but I'm not sure if you've ever delved deep into the Morning Lands. But between Talos and Calliope, she'll be able to help find your way around, and her power should also be able to assist you in this. She looks at Calliope.
Go for a maybe of service, ma'am.
You do understand how dangerous this is, right? I've already lost 3 friends trying to take these things down.
I'm no stranger to danger.
Stranger danger.
I'm so glad someone said that.
The way we travel and the way we fight is very harsh. I will help try to keep you alive. I have healing powers, but I'm more of a battle than anything else.
This is good. This is good.
Are you able to protect yourself, or do you need help when in face of a battle?
I have my ways. And she's gonna wave her hand, and a little gust of air is gonna shh around her.
Those very, very fun little parlor tricks, but what we deal with is extremely dangerous. So please keep in mind, I don't want to be having more friends and more companions and people that I'm working with just to see them die again.
I have spent the last 100 years defending my people. I think I can handle whatever quest you have.
I'm gonna take your word for it, but like I said, I'm just warning you, just because of the fact that I've already lost 3 friends. Becoming a hero I did not want to be.
Losing someone is difficult. It's true. It is the way of life, though.
I'm not sure that any of us would be sitting at this table if we didn't understand the risks presented upon us.
Yeah, I wish I knew the risk when getting into this. I wasn't ready to lose as many friends as I did.
Would it have caused you to choose a different path?
I don't know. I've grown very fond of the people that are around me now. And I've had great adventures with them, and I'm planning to take more with them. And I just hope that we could all live through this next part of our journey on this quest.
I too. And I believe having me along will help that hope.
I appreciate it. I appreciate your help.
I feel it's also worth mentioning that if you have the endorsement of those nobles here at this table, then that is an endorsement that myself, at least, can certainly have some hope behind. Welcome.
It's so beautiful. So beautiful.
To help you to
And
take it
Holgren's
over.
hands up. Well, I guess that's it. I guess we're set. So, I would say enjoy your morning. Rest here for a little bit. Enjoy yourselves whatever time we have. And it's about a 4-day trek to Castle Pass. So I would say we could leave around noon today to make it there in good time. With good weather. Shouldn't be too difficult.
Will that be on foot? Do we have cartage of sorts or mounts?
That's. You see, Lord Royher Dunmer looks over at you. He's like, Equus has horses. You are free. Whatever horses you need.
Support is appreciated.
And Lord Condrite stands up and he looks over. He's like, I don't believe in any of this talk of prophecy. I don't believe in all this nonsense of Leto. But I do know trouble when I see it. And the fact that the other overlords have come to Evanfall's aid, and these heroes have freed Icewind Dale of Perseverance. Evanfall could at least donate some funds to aid you on your way. And he dumps a very large, or he pulls out, say, a small coffer. He places it on the table. So each of you get 250 gold to take the journey.
All right. This will be put to good use.
You know, and by the way,
Also-
little meta here. I was looking at everyone's gold, and I'm like, yeah, everyone should be done. Turnick, how the hell do you still have so much money?
Dude, I have a ton of money too.
That's a good question. I guess I just don't get it.
I
Don't
forgot
go
what I
shopping
opened
very
some.
much.
I opened some chests and I got a shit ton of gold because I have a, even like the higher one of gold. I have like one of those, the whatever the PP is.
Yeah, Turnick had like 400 gold pieces to begin with. I was like,
Damn.
yeah,
It's kind of from royalty, I guess. Jeez Louise, kid.
I think you stole it off from Coda. I think that's what happened.
No, I don't think
Or
I did
Lucius when Lucius died. But yeah. So everyone starts to kind of nod and that the plan is in agreement. And Holgern does kind of look over at Barrick. He's like, Barrick, we can head on down now.
As everyone's kind of standing up, Barrick would just kind of address in general. While I may not have the most sway in the courts of Grand Alpha, please, all you fair nobles, if there is any way that the Durgar can support you and your nations, I'd be happy to pass it along to my people when I'm able to communicate with them. Supporting this
And,
journey and in taking down the evil of Leto is very much appreciated, and I'm sure it will not go unnoticed.
Jarl Bjorn, being from the south and above the Underdark, does look at you kind of waringly. He's like, Lord Barrick, there's obviously no denying your honor, but for all the years in the Dale, the Dwerger have not been so kind to the above folk.
Well,
Can you make that kind of pledge for your people?
I am only a voice in the sea of politics, but from witnessing the devastation that Leto's influence brought upon the people of the Underdark.
You mean swaying half of the Duergar population to his side? They were agents
you know
of
quite
Oral.
well what I mean, Yarborn. And I certainly don't mean to besmirch you, but as I said, I would be honored to be a vestige of goodwill between our nations. Whatever
Well,
weight that may or may not have, you have my blessing.
if these heroes trust you, I trust you.
He has been useful in battle. That is for sure.
Aye.
It's probably
Holger
the kind
goes,
thing
"Of
to
course
say
he
to
is, he's a
Star
dwarf!" Anyone else want to say anything else before Holgern and Barrick move on to another scene? All right. So I keep forgetting if this works. If I don't have to. Are you guys able to see this without your tokens being on the map?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So players, you can see it, but your characters aren't, obviously. So you walk out the inn, and he leads you down the steps underneath the large redwood trees that holds it. And he takes a little path through these cospa trees at the inn's above. And as you follow this path, you see a little clearing open up, and you see a pretty large a wooden structure, kind of rectangular. You see smoke billowing up from the top of it, and some light gleaming, even in the daylight, from the windows. He leads you into the building. As you walk in, you see this quite expansive workshop of Holgern's. He obviously has a forge, an anvil, but there's also other types of tools and benches for various. Seems to be a jack of all trades, where he can do just about anything. And on just about everything, the anvil is very ornate. You notice, Barrick. It has the runes for Govnu on there as well, and it seems to be gleaming for an anvil. Usually anvils being kind of a dark cast steel, but even this anvil seems to be gleaming a little bit as you walk in. So
my workshop is quite a bit more. Well, I guess it's seen plenty of years, but I'm quite impressed, Holgren.
Well, when you've been down here as long as I have, you have time to do these kind of things. It's kind of cathartic, you know.
That I do. I'm a patron of the
Takes
forge
your mind
myself.
away from other troubles and responsibilities.
Yeah, I would. It's an eloquent way to put it. I'm curious to know what we might be able to make of this. And he pulls the arm of the tree ant out of his pack.
And the hammer as well. You pull out.
I mean, I have it like on me, like it would be with me, but
Right, but I mean, all you're presenting him with is the arm of the Spriggan. That's all you're presenting him with.
yes, no, it was the tree ant, not the spring ant.
Treant, sorry.
Yeah, important distinction.
Yes,
based
yes.
on size. I had a glaive that I had been quite fond of and served the purpose of dispatching Oral on several occasions, and I pledged that as a beacon of hope back to my people in the Underdark, and so I am in need of preferably something with a bit of reach and utility to replace that, if you will.
He kind of looks at it. He's like, See, an eyebrow raises. Like, part of a treant. You guys fought a treant?
It wasn't much of a fight, but we sure did.
You are not there, Hope.
The bitch out.
Hope, you're not in the room.
No, you're not in the room.
Damn it. I thought we were in the room too.
No.
It didn't put up much of a fight, but we did indeed dispatch of one. Yes.
Well, that's kind of looking it over. He's like, well, I mean, there's lots of magical properties that can be drawn out from a magical creature like a treant. And, you know, being a dwarf, there's some help that Govnew can give you. But what do you want me to do with it? It's, right now, it's just a piece of wood.
True. Well, I mean, I do have a hammer that I procured from a fallen Duergar who did not see eye to eye with our goals. And he pulled the psychic attuned hammer.
Looks at it and he's
And,
like, I recognize this. Yes, this is dwarven craftsmanship from your kin from below. I can tell the difference. Psychic attuned, it looks like it is.
It is. I can't take, and quite frankly, I don't want to take responsibility for crafting this piece. It's not quite up to my standards, but if it could be used to be infused with this treant appendage, then I would be interested to know what we might be able to do with it, and I would be more than happy to assist you in this. I don't know how long it's going to take for us to how much of a time we have in town before we go. So
Don't worry about the time. So you're looking to perhaps maybe use this as a handle for this hammer? Would that be something that would be up your alley?
I think so. I'd be interested in if any way we could make part of it bladed. But I mean, this is certainly a weapon that I can use.
Well, this is... Kind of looks around. I have some special talents. They all stem from the divine, if you will. So their results vary. And if I'm creating it for someone like you, those results would revolve around your faith. So I could do something. And as I'm doing it, it would require some prayers from you. And being kin, sure, Govnew would have an ear. However, I gotta tell you this. They do vary. So the effect would be determined on your level of faith. And if that faith is found critically lacking, it could weaken the hammer.
Of my 160 years, I'd say probably a consecutive 60 of those have been spent in front of a forge and in homage to Govnew as well. So it's a chance I'm willing to take.
Okay. Well, I guess we get this started. All right, so this is going to be a religion check.
Of course it is.
Okay. I'm sure you understood from the words. If you get a crit fail, that's not good.
Yeah, I know what you meant.
You'll still have the weapon, but you may lose something from it. It may not be as strong as it is right now.
Spencer, I shouldn't have sent you that message.
There's 3 levels of depending on what you roll, is depending on what bonus or buff the hammer could get.
All right, let's do it.
So you see him, he pulls out, you see him, he puts it up on a forge, starts to pop the old handle off, just tosses it over his shoulder. Takes a tree arm, pulls out one of those, you forgetting what, so I own one. There's 2 handles with a blade where you can, like, you know, pull some of the wood off. So he starts pulling off some wood, smoothing it out a little bit. flattens the end a little bit to where it'll fit in the hammer correctly. Cuts a slot in it to be able to put the wedge in once he puts it in there. As he's doing this, you notice that his tools are glowing. As he's doing, and as he cuts into this wood, it kind of like it's like peeling off, and it glows like going like this as he's pulling it off, and he's doing it.
Draw knife is or a
draw knife. There you go. Thank you.
Yeah. Or something. You want to?
And then he takes the head of the hammer, and he puts it into his forge, and lets it heat up. And as he's doing that, he goes back to the tree and arm a little bit. And you see him sanding it a little bit, making it nice and smooth. Starts to polish it. And as it polishes, it's weird. It's like as he wipes the polish on, instead of just being like shiny like it polishes, it glows, like it's pulling the magic to the surface and bringing it up into it. And it's also dually polishing wood, making it smooth. Then he turns back to the forge and he pulls the hammer out with the tongs. And he puts it down. He's like, "Your kin did good work, but I think I can make it." You see him start to pound on it. His hammers, sparks are flying. Sweat's coming down his broad shoulders as he stripped down to a shirt like this. And he's pounding into it. And you see it take a little more of a ornate shape for a hammer rather than the kind of utilitarian shape it was previously. You see him pull out a couple stamps, and you see the runes associated with Gobnu, and he pounds them into the side of the hammer. And as it does, those sparks fly with each of those. You see, and the sparks fly in multicolors, not just the red and orange kind of colors you can see. But he puts them in there. He takes the handle, and he's holding it above, about to put it into the head of the hammer, and he puts it in. You see him hold it up, and he pounds in the bottom of the handle, and you see the head pull up as it goes into the handle. Takes the wedge, slams it on top, and he holds it over his bucket of water. It's like, if you're going to pray, now's the time to do it. As this is the quenching, this will determine what's going to happen.
I think for the majority of the time that he had been working on it, Barrick would have set out his 4 runes, his fire rune, his storm rune, his cloud rune, and his frost rune on a workbench that's not being used, closer to one of the forges, and would just be kind of hand over them, and would just be kind of whispering prayer to Gobnu through that time.
You don't hear them entry, but the rest of the group was curious as to what was going on. So the rest of you do enter. You kind of follow them because you guys were curious, and you enter the door, and you're kind of watching through the door as what's happening, and you kind of overheard some of the conversation. So if anyone wants to help him with his rolls with any kind of actions that you have, you can.
Yeah, I would like to kind of play a dwarven hymn that I've heard before. More Bardish shit. Look at that.
Is that the dwarven tune you've heard?
That's it. You know, so should I do religion?
Very squeaky hymn, but hey,
Strangely melodic.
I mean, no. I mean, it's if there's anything, if you guys have any skills that can help him with an ability check.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's gonna be praying, right? So I'm gonna do some religious dwarven hymn on my lute.
Sure, that's the RP version. Mechanics wise, are you
performance or religion? One or the other.
Well, it would have to be something that gives him a bonus to his ability check.
He's not saying to make you do roll something. He's saying to, like, what do you have that would influence my roll?
Yeah.
Like a bardic inspiration or something like that.
Well, yeah, I can definitely do that. I'm gonna see if I have
Because
anything
inspiration
else.
can inspiration be added to abilities?
Let me
Yeah.
check. I believe so.
Are you trying to give him advantage?
10. Yes, it can be an ability check. So, and it's 1d10 at this point too. So,
Ooh.
yeah. So, yeah, I'll do that. Let me go ahead and here. Let's see if it works. I don't think it's gonna work like this, unfortunately. But it'd be like Bardic Inspiration, usability.
Also, I don't know if it would make a difference, but the passive on my fire rune is that my proficiency bonus is doubled for any ability check I make that uses your proficiency with a tool. I know I'm not doing the tooling, but
Yeah, it's a religion check, unfortunately.
Nice try.
I had to ask. I mean, it's a
Hey,
religion
no,
check
I
based
never
on
fault
tooling.
anyone for asking.
It's a religion check based
Bonus
on
points
tooling.
for the attempt, but I have to make they do have to make a ruling, and the ruling is 9.
I need to punch my mic. Whoops.
Damn, yeah, jeez, man. Anger issues.
meant to
Gosh.
I meant to just do that, but I punched my mic. I'm sorry.
All right.
Hope grabs her medallion or her pendant she wears all the time, and she like whispers a few words and casts bless on him. So that way he'll have a 4d for saving.
I don't know if those. Well, it's
That
not a saving
doesn't-
throw;
yeah,
it's an
it's not
ability
a
check.
saving
It's
throw, it's an
attack or
ability
saving
check.
Yeah.
Saving
Yeah.
throws.
Well, it's not a saving
It's-
throw; it's an ability check.
Oh.
It's an ability check, not a saving throw.
All right.
Okay, here we go.
So you roll yours, and I'll roll mine.
And by the way, I will
Well,
say this:
I
regardless
just add 1d10
of
to-
bonuses, if it's a crit
Oh, yeah,
fail,
that's
it's a
true,
crit fail.
Yeah.
Add 1d10 to it, yeah. Yeah, but
So it's gonna be-
okay. Okay, don't roll a 1, damn it.
Yeah.
Anything but a roll.
Using one of my.
I mean,
bardic
again,
inspiration points. That's okay. They
you got
come
a
back
1
with
in-
Go.
rests.
It's only a 1 out of 20
jinx it!
that you can get a crit fail. So
Don't jinx it like that.
17.
Not terrible.
Woo! So you
Thank you for that inspiration time.
Is there anything you wanted to role play as far as
definitely.
your
Let's
prayers?
see, what was the?
No, just low key am
yeah,
just
nice.
on repeat, whispering the lyrics of "Hammer in the Anvil" by the Longest Johns, into my runes.
Nice.
Give me an insight check as well.
Me,
Yes.
little old me. 14.
Okay. So you're doing your prayers, and you see the hammer lowering into the quench barrel. You hear the hiss as it enters, and flames sprout up, and then they die down, and steam is flowing out. And the barrel is glowing as Holgirn is just holding it in there, staring at it intensely. As you're looking at them, and you're looking at Holgirn, and you say your words to Govnu as well. You feel the power of your god enter you, and you feel his presence. And that presence, you also feel it strongly around Holgirn. And he looks at you and he gives you a wink. And he pulls it out. Flips it in the air and he holds it. Now it's much more beautiful than it was before. It's still steam rising off of it. He's like, gotta give it a little bit of polish, but you see it as much more ornately forged, much more skillfully forged than it was previously, which is a little more crude. You see the glowing runes of Govnu within it. You see the treant handle, kind of a cherry color, as if it got almost like it was stained. That color through the quenching somehow, the magic, and it's bright, almost like varnished, a beautifully polished handle, like all that happened during the quenching, which should have taken hours of work to do. And he hands it to you, and I gotta edit it. I gotta change it for you now and put it in there, but you won't be needing it right now. But basically, his inspiration popped you up to the 3rd level.
Hell
So
yeah.
for the 3rd level, it changes the range to 10 feet instead of 5 feet. And you will get a +1 to your AC while enlarged.
All right.
On top of what it already has.
Guys, we did it. We made Stormbreaker. Let's go.
And he hands it to you.
Barrick is a generally pretty non-emotional reading type of individual. A tear rolls down his cheek as he takes it, and I know that you've done this in support of our mission, but please know that I will find a way to show you my appreciation, and, well, this thing's gonna get put to good use.
I am sure it will, lad. And he gives you another wink. Govnu knows his guys.
That he does. May the forge be with you.
Well, anyway, yes. Is that it? I'll take, enjoy yourselves, guys. We have about a good 3-4 hours before we make out from Castle Pass.
Hell yeah, that was rad. Thanks for the assist on that one, Chris, Talos,
Yes, sir.
and everyone.
Gotta love those bards.
Dude.
I keep forgetting his thing's up to a 1d10 now. Jesus Christ.
10, baby. Nice.
Dude, I finally, well, it must have changed slightly since you added it, or since you did it, but where did it go? Oh, where's my character sheet? This Psychic Attuned Hammer already,
Yeah, it's
when
crazy.
When enlarged, does 2d10 plus 4 plus 1d10 of psychic damage. Rad.
And when you use Giant Smite, you get another d8.
Yeah, no, I'm
He's gonna
Yeah.
start smashing things and making them blow up.
Yeah, so I'm going to
can't wait
add
for that.
I'm
fire
gonna
rune to
add-
do something for once.
I'm going to add the effect. I'm going to try it. I should be able to. I'm going to add the effect to Enlarge and Giant Smite that gives +1 to AC. Because that way,
Okay.
I don't even have to add it to the hammer. It'll just when you enlarge, because you always have the hammer on you, pretty much. So when you enlarge,
I see what you mean. Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll figure that out.
yeah. The only time it wouldn't come into effect is if you're enlarging and you don't have your hammer. Then we'll have to knock that 1 AC off. But if you're holding the hammer, which I'm assuming 99.9% of the time you will be, you will have the AC bonus from it. And
A
10
dwarf
feet I
goes
can actually
nowhere without his hammer.
exactly the 10 feet I can actually change right now. That's
Sick. Okay, cool. Enough about me.
all right. So that is that. Did you guys want to do any role playing or talking before you make your way to Castle Pass?
I kind of wanted to go around the town and see what they had.
I mean, it's River's End. You guys have been here before. It was kind of a small town. They didn't have. This is where you guys started. They didn't have a lot of shops. It's just small, mom and pop kind of stuff.
Okay, yeah. No.
Yeah. I mean, any provisions and stuff, you guys are being loaded up. They gave you gold. You'll have rations and fresh water, and you have the horses and everything.
Potions?
No, potions, no. Potions, no.
He very definitely grabbed some bacon, or wrapped it in a
Here you go.
paper, in a towel or something, and stuck it in our satchel.
Leaves.
But yeah,
Woman leaves.
Yeah, pocket bacon
Oh.
is the thing, friends.
also, I want to mention. I don't know if Spencer and Hope remember this, but this map, this building was like one of the first ones I ever made when we were still playing on Owlbear, and I used the same one for this instead of making a new one as an homage because I'm like, we need this. I mean, I added the background. You guys can see, but I'm like, you know what? We're back to where we started. Use the same building. so I use the same
I
building.
I didn't remember this being the exact building, but I remember the overall town map being the same. So like before we loaded in here, I was like, oh, I remember this.
Well, the town map was new. That actually I redid in
Oh, it
Incarnate.
was?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess it was just a layout then or whatever.
Yeah,
It, like,
but this one, if you remember, this had 2 floors.
right
I just didn't
away.
put the second floor because you guys ain't doing it up there. The second floor is all the rooms where John was wanting to look under every bear rug for stuff when it was unnecessary. There was like 4 bear rugs in the hallway, and John's like, I want to look under this bear rug. Okay, nothing there. I want to look under this bear rug. There's nothing there. Okay, I want to look at John. There's nothing under any of the rugs.
That's so funny. I'll be right back.
But yeah,
Um,
okay.
So, did the ambassador have anything specific, any instructions for Callie before she left?
No, there is some stuff that she's going to ask of you that I will send you privately over Discord. It's nothing of import right now for this session, but there'll be some stuff that she's wants from you or expects from you that I will send you over Discord for you to know to talk about or not talk about. See fit. So yeah. So we'll wait for Austin to get back, and I'm assuming then everyone we're going to be making the journey to Castle Pass to get to the Kingdom of Castelmar.
Yep.
And just to give you guys an idea, so you are here. There's a little marker. That's where you guys are in River's End, right there in River's End, and Castle Pass. Kingdom of Castelmar is up here, obviously, and this is the Castle Pass, where you'll be heading to try to enter the kingdom. So you'll be heading along the West Spoke River, and then going up through the spokes, and then going north up the King's March, Castle Pass. Okay, Austin's back. All right, so. Whatever you guys use today, you can put back again because it's gonna be a 4-day trip, so it's like long steal. So, as you guys make your way there, all right.
Calliope will very definitely be paying attention to any songs that Telos might be singing, or any stories that he tells around a campfire.
Tiny is gonna, or sorry, Hope is going to be on the outlook for different herbs or
Herbs.
anything else. Yes, any herbs or anything.
Herbs.
That might be on the areas around where they're traveling. Especially when they stop for the night, she'll go out and look around and see what's in that area. If you can find anything.
Yeah, so if you're doing this during the journey, you can do a check to see if you find anything. This will be for the entire 4 days.
I don't have my character, so how do I grab?
Yeah. Hold on.
Is there any way that Calliope can help her with that? Give her a
Not really. She's kind of.
it's at the top. I could do it without abilities. Here we go. Which
Yeah.
one am I rolling?
Let me see here. I think we did perception last time, or nature.
Nature, yeah.
18. 17. Okay, so yeah, with a 17 over that 4 days, you find enough stuff to make 2 potions. So the ingredient list, you have 2 of each, whatever it is to make 2 potions that I gave you.
So like
To do it.
I have like the healing potion, but I was kind of looking for other things. There are other type of potions I can make too, other than just grading up healing.
What were you talking about? What were you thinking? What were you thinking about making?
Because I have potions like I have the invisibility potion in my bag right now, and I'm trying to learn to make other potions as well. So I have like the greater strength potion. I have a healing potion. I have an invisibility potion. So like getting all these other potions, I kind of want to like learn to see about making other types of potions.
Yeah, I would say, because I don't think we ever really addressed this with you. Oh yeah, you do have the herbalism kit. That's right. I don't know if it makes all of it. It should make all of it. Yeah, remedies and potions. So yeah. Yeah, I would say with that, it was high enough to find enough to make one healing potion and one of the other potions, whatever other potion you were looking to make. And you'll have to roll the herbalism kit to see if it's a success making them. A roll for each of them.
Okay, through my kit.
Yeah, which one do you make? What are you making first?
Healing.
Okay, go ahead and roll the herbalism kit. Ooh. So you haven't been doing it for too long, and you pull out the shiny kit, and you start making it, and you mix some stuff, and it just turns into this black tar and this nasty smell, and you like throw dirt on it in the camp during the camp at night while everyone's camping, and you realize, okay, that didn't work.
All right, so I'm gonna try to make an invisibility potion next.
Okay. Oh my god.
How is that freaking possible?
Oh no.
You're not alone, Austin.
Oh no.
She was trying to make an invisibility potion and a healing potion, and she just rolled on her herbalism kit 2 nat 1s in a row. Just like you did. So you're not alone. So yeah. It blows up in your face. It literally, you're all sitting around the campfire, and she's kind of off to the side, and she's got her little kit, and she's doing stuff, and it's like you hear, and you see this flash of light, and as you turn around, you see Hope's hair in the silhouette of the campfire, just kind of standing up like this from the back.
I gotta use this more often.
Join the game. Odd.
Want to let you join?
I'll figure it out.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, Hope. Those are some horrible rolls.
Try.
Get him out of the way now.
Yeah.
Turnic will go up to Hope and be like...
Since Austin's trying to get it, you guys want to take an intermission? We can take a pee break right now before we get into the next part. So let's take an intermission.
Yeah, that works.
And we will be right back. we are back. And before we start playing, I'm going to take a look at the chat and say hello to everyone. Jennifer Pretty. Wonder who that is. Yin Wolf is here. Hey. What up, Yin? Cap Tokyo. Said, okay, yo. Looking forward to seeing your game. Thank you very much. Yin Wolf also says, good luck, all. Noosh Fireball. Good luck, everyone. Thank you, Noosh. Seth Livers says hello to Jen. We have the sausage dude in here that's saying Lego my ego. I wonder who that sausage dude is. We have
Seems
Icy
really
Serpent.
cool though.
Yeah, it does.
We have this Icy Serpent from Kick saying hello. Thank you. We got a little Kick representation in here.
Ooh, we on Kick? I don't know we on Kick.
Oh yeah, we've been on Kick for a while. And Captain Tokyo says, and the Bard song will remain.
Kick.com/council-of-6.
Yeah, that's the only difference. Like YouTube and Twitch are the same at Council6, all one with the
Underscore.
number 6, not on Twitch or
No.
YouTube.
The URL though I'm saying is dash. Even though the username is underscore, the URL is dash.
Yes, for Kick, it's dash,
Weird.
right?
Yeah.
Weird.
Very weird.
Then we have Abyss Sans on Twitch saying, what's good, boy? How are you doing today? Doing okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Then when this is Austin telling us he lost his internet. And Noosh Fireball just said, welcome back. Thank you, Noosh Fireball. Thank you. Let me open up the chat so I can put it back on the screen. There we go. All right. And yeah, so we are back. Thank you all who have joined us and commented. Much appreciated. Hope blew up 2 potions in her face. As you guys are making this 4-day trip to Castle Pass, going north to the Kingdom of Castellamar. Did anyone else want to do anything else during this 4-day trip? Or are we all good?
Barrick would only be finding new and creative ways to cover himself from the sun. He does not like the sun.
Well, it is quite cool. It's autumn. Technically, it's almost the beginning of summer or winter. It's the month of snowfall.
I'm just not a fan of sun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The sun is still there.
A hat would probably be good to have bought.
Talos walks up to Barrick and places his hand on him and pulls his lute around him, starts strumming a tune and casts invisibility on Barrick. My lute. So now the sun goes right through you, my friend.
I don't know if that's how it works. He's just not visible. The sun still hits him. You can still see the light.
I don't know about
It's more about his eyes seeing the light. He's not blinded. Now, if you blinded him, that might help.
It's like an albino needing a lot of SPF 90 sunscreen.
I just made your skin transparent.
Transparent to the eyes. It still exists. So the sunlight is still hitting it.
It's still UV light.
It's just not. It's just not reflecting any of that light back to your eyes. That's all.
He's still there.
The assistance and the thought is appreciated, and you just see like this shimmer of light, just cover himself with this cloak.
Calliope, did you want to try to engage with any of these new people that you're traveling with?
Sure.
That doesn't mean you have to. I just asked a question. She could be stoically quiet the entire trip. It's up to you.
No, she's listening to the stories and taking everything in.
Seeing Hope play with her polish and blowing it up.
By the way, her hair is up on end for like the remainder of the trip. Like whatever she does, it just pops back up again. It's like it was some herbalist gel that like stuck it up. Takes a couple days to come back down again. Herbal essences.
That's funny. That's very funny.
Remember the commercials, Lunga?
Yep.
Oh.
Oh,
Show him your rope face.
very orgasmic commercials.
Mm-hmm. Very.
I'm your Venus, I'm your fire, your desire. Isn't that how it's? No, that's
No, that's Gillette.
You're showing your age.
still younger than you, motherfuckers. So.
Yes, you are. But I look younger than you,
Yeah.
so that's all that matters.
Except for you, Spencer. But don't you speak up?
Spencer doesn't count. Spencer's a fetus. He doesn't count.
Are you out of high school yet, kiddo?
Yeah, you know he's in first year of college.
Second year.
Actually, I just started second year this week.
Oh, really?
Oh, exciting. Nice. So I'll Calliope will share some pocket bacon with the turnip.
It's meat.
Oh. Thank you. I'm quite like the meats. I mean, I've had quite a history with eating a lot of sausages and stuff. I had I lost somebody very close to me that would make a very special kind for me. And so whenever I eat them, they it's a special connection I have. But
They bring
I
them back
appreciate
to
it.
you. Yes.
yes.
Another commercial reference. Turnick is the Arby's commercial. He has the meats.
No, I think she's mostly just reserved and is taking it all in at this point. If y'all
Okay.
wanted to ask any questions, I'm sure she would engage in answer. But and if what's the weather like, Lunga?
It is late autumn going into winter. This section of the Riverlands is quite cool. So it's probably, I would say during the day it's in the mid 50s. Whatever that is in Celsius for you Canadians, I don't know, Austin.
I'll be okay. I can do that. About 17 degrees.
There you go. And at night it gets pretty chilly, so it's probably in the third. It's like
at all?
no. It's been clear
Okay.
skies.
Okay.
Hope is using the stuff she got from Winterdale though. She likes it warm, so she's got that big heavy fur jacket on her.
Being descendant of demons from the Nine Hells, I could see why she'd be cold.
Is that a meta statement?
No, because Maria is the complete opposite of that. She is a angel,
Or so she wants you to.
and I'm not saying that sarcastically. This woman is so good to me; it's unbelievable. So no,
There you go.
more than I deserve.
Right answers. Da-na-na.
So Calliope doesn't actually wear that many clothes, but she does have a cloak. But like most everything is like greens and browns.
And Duminos being so close to the south, by the way, you would be close. You would be accustomed to colder weather. So this isn't
good.
anything out of your realm of. Whereas Luminos is more like a summer realm. Duminos is more of a perpetual kind of fall kind of realm with some winters and mild summers.
Excellent. That's very good. And she has a staff that's got a claw on it, like a dragon claw. And so, whenever we camp, she'll go off and she'll practice some of her cantrips and stuff.
Nifty. All right, so you guys do the 4 days of travel, and on the last day, nearing noon. Let me move the days forward here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I don't know if you see it too. By the way, Harmony, there's that I do have the calendar that in the corner there or wherever it is on your screen. It has the days in it.
I do.
So yeah, 4 days pass, and approaching midday of the last day, you start to see Castle Pass and the Castellian Mountains rising up in the distance as you arrive closer to them. And as you arrive, you just see how big it is. There's only one pass in this mountain range that leads to the kingdom of Castellamar, and it is guarded by this ancient fortress that completely is the breadth of that pass. So the only way through this mountain range, other than scaling these incredibly tall mountains, is through aptly named Castle Pass. It's like I said, it's a very old structure, so it looks like it's been there for you would say at least 1,000 to 2,000 years. It has well maintained and kept gates and portcullises in the front, so the entry is not easy. As you go there, you see on the battlements up top, you do see armored knights patrolling it as they look down upon you to come in. You see you could see from their vantage that no one can make their way to Castle Pass without them seeing or knowing, which makes people understand why the Kingdom of Castellamar has been able to be so isolationist this entire time. Since the earlier people remember when they went to the Temple of Rania or Temple of El Zadal, they'll remember that one of the cells they freed, and they saw the visions that Rania once had a war with Castellamar hundreds and hundreds of years ago, and that Rania was destroyed because of this. And because of these crazy wars, the Kingdom of Castellamar went behind its walls and not opened them rarely to anyone except for some trade here. So now you're attempting to enter as you approach the gates. And there is a 2 armed knights you see behind the portcullis as you approach. Alt. Oh, by the way, Holgurn is with you. He did come with you this entire time. I just don't have his token. And Holgurn walks up and is like, "Hey, oh, hey, it's me, Holgurn. Don't act like you don't remember me. I just came by through here a month or so ago. You just..." See him rummage through his sack, and he pulls out a scroll and he hands it to him. He reads it. He looks at his the knight. He does have passage by the king. Puts it in. Suppose I can let you in. I don't know if this necessarily extends to this other lot you brought with you. Just ask your king. He knows we're coming, and he knows they're coming with me. And even behind your walls, I think you have heard of the unlikely heroes by now. This is them. See them kind of glower a little bit, and they begrudgingly open the portcullises and allow you guys entry. As you pass through Castle Pass and you emerge side, there's a steep decline down the mountain range, and as you start going down, you realize that these mountains are guarding a pristine valley. The sun is shining upon it. As you further from the mountains, temperature warms. This seems to be almost the land of eternal summer. You see vineyards in the distance, rolling hillsides. You see manor houses and estates as you. In the distance, you see the castle of San Saban, which lays on the banks of the San Saban Lake, or Lake San Saban. Everything here seems to be, from the appearance on the outside, sparkling, yet speaks of ancient times. That this is a kingdom that has withstood the test of time and has been here for an extremely long time. But as you get closer to the city proper, you start entering San Saban, and you get closer to the castle, you start to notice that it's not as sparkling as it appeared from the distance. It seems to be in some states of disrepair. Some of the buildings are not as upkept as they were. Perhaps it could be because of their age, or perhaps all these years hidden behind their walls, they have not had all the resources they've needed to keep maintaining everything the way it would have. And Holgurn leads you to the castle, and more guards front stopping you. They kept my note, but I'm sure they sent word by Raven, which we saw flying over. You know why we're here. And they pull their pikes aside. You guys, fucking knights. He looks back to you guys. All right, so I might as well give you guys the lay of the land. San Saban is a kingdom of knights. These people thrive and live on codes of chivalry, the these and the thous and all their bullshit that they do. It's very antiquated. I mean, I know the River Lords are pretty proper, but these guys put them to shame. This is where knighthood originated. All the ideas of knights and chivalry throughout the morning lands, the evening lands, started here in San Saban. They take their vows and their oaths extremely serious. I guess you could say it's a kingdom of paladins, because that's basically what every single. But they're also very rigid. The king being one of them, and his advisors, some are good, some I don't trust so much. But that's what you're walking into. And we need him to let us book passage to the Port of Arms to head across the sea and head over to Port Nyanzaru. I tried talking him into it. He was hesitant. He still wasn't committal. So I might need y'all help on this. If there's anything words you can say to convince him. After everything I've said, he kind of looks at Hope. You understand it could be easily offended, so let's just keep in mind how you talked.
Are you trying to tell me I need to keep my mouth shut?
Oh, no, I would never say such a thing.
I think that's exactly what he's trying to tell you.
Taylor
I'll say
has
it.
pissed off way more people than I have.
Who?
From what I've heard, it's usually when it involves the gods.
Yeah.
He's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder about gods. I don't know why. I think gods can be wonderful. Not like it. Look what they did for the hammer for Barrick over here. Gods are very nice people, especially Govdew. He's an incredibly glorious, nice man. I don't understand why you such nastiness towards the gods. But at any rate, are y'all ready?
Y'all ready for this?
My great God.
Well, I mean, you do kind of worship the goddess of death. Haven't met her. I mean, knowing of her, she's can be kind of scary, but she doesn't have the best reputation. So I can kind of understand people's hesitation.
Circle of life. I don't understand why you guys would have an issue with it.
I don't. I'm just telling you why people in general might.
So are we heading in or not? You're already telling me.
Yes, we're going. So he leads you into the castle, and you make your way down the corridors. And outside, as you get closer to where the throne room is, you see a knight in purple armor. His face is very. He's a very well-built man. Stands over 6 feet tall, square jaw, but his eyes are very soft. And inviting compared to all the other knights that you've seen. And he kind of stands with attention. You hear him pound his fist against his breastplate. Lord Holgirn, you have returned. Why, yes, Gideon. This is Sir Gideon Stormcaller, nephew to the king. So, is he ready to talk to us? Well, I've tried talking to him. Do the best you can. You know you have my support. Of course. Gideon opens the double doors and he walks up. And you see him walk up to the throne. And as you guys walk into the throne room, you see it's a grand throne room. Stained glass windows on many sides. The sun is streaming in. Very well lit. You could tell this is a very ornate and exquisitely architected and designed throne room. It's beautiful by all accounts. But you do notice that some of the tiles are cracked. Some of the frescoes are peeling a little bit here and there. Some of the stained glass windows have fallen out and been replaced with just regular glass in certain parts. So the rugs are a little weird and fringe. The fringes are at the edges are kind of torn. And at the end on the throne, you see an elderly man, still wearing all full armor as well, seated upon the throne. To his left, you see another man in a cloak, middle-aged, with a goatee. And you see a woman to his right, piercing her violet eyes. Raven hair, and her robes and everything tells you that she is a sorceress. Gideon walks up and he stands a few steps below the woman as you guys. And you hear Gideon say, King Dradius, Holgirn has arrived with the unlikely heroes that we spoke about earlier. You see him look over at the woman, and he kind of smiles at her, and you kind of see her give a thin lip smile, but it's not. She seems like she's not trying to show it as much as she. The other gentleman is just sternly staring at you as you walk up. King says,
Come forward.
We appreciate you allowing us an audience in your court.
As you should. I'm sure you have known that not many are allowed in the kingdom for hundreds and hundreds of years, and probably for hundreds more. So remember this day, for it's not an event that would happen often. Only because of the words of Holgirn, who is known in these lands, was disallowed. Speak your piece.
Okay.
Holgirn's looking at you and he's kind of nudging someone. Just, fuck!
So Calliope will do a deep curtsy. Thank you, sire, for allowing us this audience. You know of the dangers of the godly tale poses to all of us. I've joined these companions to defend Dominos as well as the world from the ravages of chaos. We beseech you, allow us passage, please, so that we may continue the quest.
As you finish your set.
Oh,
sorry.
Go ahead. That's fine.
As you finish your words, the gentleman to his left kind of scoffs. You hear, my liege, this is complete and utter nonsense. Leto poses no threat to the kingdom at all, and you know this as well as I do. No one has posed a threat to the kingdom for hundreds of years. No one can breach the wall. We have Storm's Keep in the ocean. Their ships do not make their way to our shores. They will not make it past Castle Pass. What happens to the River Lords is not our concern.
Sounds like somebody's working for Leto.
Isadora kind of looks over, or the woman looks over to him, and she goes, Lord Sullick, please let them at least speak their piece before you rudely interrupt.
With much respect, with much respect, and no offense intended, all the walls of my kingdom stand, and many, a great many, have died at the influence of Leto. I think the strength of your walls is not what determines a threat in this situation. And while this may not pose a threat on your nation, certainly has posed much demise in all of ours.
Sullick scoffs again. Your Highness, these are the words of a Dwerga. And this woman, she's obviously a wild elf from the lands of Dominos, across the sea in where? The Morning Lands. And owl folk, we know where they come from. The Morning Lands. We are to take the words of two people who are clearly from the Morning Lands, and a Dwerga, who hides beneath the lands and have caused nothing but problems for those above. This is, again, an impingement upon our sovereignty and not something that we need here. And you hear, as he's about to start his next sentence, you see Gideon off to the side. You see him grab his sword and his hand is clasping it tightly. And he's like, Sulik, enough! And the king raises his hand. Enough, enough! I have given them time to speak their piece, and I've heard the words of a few. Sulik, let them continue. Gideon, hand off your sword. Please.
What more can we say to persuade you? You know, no matter where your borders lie, the gods don't care. They don't care about borders. They're going to try and destroy you no matter what. Take over your lands. What do you think they're going to do when they're done with the other areas of the world?
Artio the Just protects the kingdom as he always has for time immemorable.
The
And
gods
through
can
his
never be trusted.
blessing, no one has breached Castle Pass in thousands of years. We have great faith in Artio the Just, and because of this, we have no fears from them. We have no fears from Leto, the younger brother of Artio. What is he going to do to his more powerful older brother and those he protects? My question to you is, what reason should the kingdom be involved or even aid when there is no threat to us?
What does it cost you to give us passage?
It costs us relations with the Cardian Empire. They are not our enemies. They are not attacking us. But should we aid their enemies, they could turn their attention to us. And while we do not fear them breaching our shores or our wall, perhaps it is not a battle we wish to fight.
Are you fighting it? By just giving us
We are
passage?
not fighting it. If we are aiding enemies of them that seek to do them harm, then we are complicit, yes.
I may have misunderstood our initial request to you, but I don't believe that we had requested any aid in this scenario. Only passage. If you choose not to support our goals, that's neither here nor there. However, we will be achieving them one way or the other.
I still do not see much reason, though, to risk. And Gideon's like, King Uncle, this is... If we are to believe in the gods and Artio is, we have heard of the prophecy. You have heard of the prophecy. And it would be dishonest to, on one hand, believe in the blessings and love of Artio, and discount the prophecy of Leto's attempted hegemony. A balance must be struck. And how long are we going to stay behind these walls, our knights' armor rusting, fighting no one? There has not been a knight in our lands that has fought a major battle in how long? Generations. They're all green, I included, despite some of our skirmishes with orcs that have come down from the mountains. I, for one, think aiding them is the just thing to do, something that Artio would look pleasantly down upon. Calliope, I need you to do a perception check, please.
A perception check?
Yes.
Okay, first check of the game, guys. Let's see if she can do it.
Woo, let's go.
Okay, normal roll. Did it do it? Ah, good.
While everyone's talking, you're looking at the woman, and you see her piercing eyes as she's listening to everything in the room.
Mm-hmm.
You could tell that nothing is getting by her. She is hearing everything, and she's withholding words as if waiting for the right time, because she knows that knowledge and information is one of the most important things for speaking.
Mhm.
You also recognize her. Having studied with Azrael, you know that you were one of his last students before he closed his tower
Mhm.
to everyone and became a hermit of sorts with his tower. And you didn't know why, but you knew he did. And then you heard that 30 or so years ago, a young woman was let in to study with him. And she had raven hair and violet eyes. And you start to piece it all together and you realize that this is Isadora, Azrael's one and only student in the last 300 years.
Mhm.
And is a sorceress of...
Isadora, eh?
Well, that's where I got the name from. Isadora in the comic book came from her, which is from my book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She came first before the comic book one did.
Well, Jesus.
Yeah. And so you do recognize her, and you know her connection to Azrael.
Mhm. I'll turn to her and say, surely one as you understands the necessity of heeding the warning of prophecy.
See her eyebrow raise, and reminiscent, having been as you realize that this is a habit that she picked up from him, and her eyes narrow. And she goes, "And what do you know? What do you know of me?"
I know that Azrael refused all others after he took you as apprentice.
Her eyes flare. You see energy around her hand kind of form, like a spell is starting to form, and her mouth's kind of moving, and she's, "Why do you speak that name?"
I too studied under him before you.
You see her teeth grit. "Of course, you're an elf. You're quite old. Sure, knew he had other students. Long. So you studied with Azrael?"
Yes.
"This may change things, Your Highness." The rest of you hear all this, and you remember having, well, not Barrick, but Turnic and Hope remember going to Azrael's tower, and Talos remembers being introduced to them by Azrael, and know that he is somehow intricately linked with all these events. So you all remember that name when you hear it. Barrick, you know nothing. You may have heard of a legendary, extremely powerful archmage by the name of Azrael, but to many people, it's myth and legend.
We're not from the same neighborhood.
No.
Well, he's also a Shay and like rumored to be over 5,000 years old, but yeah.
He's way older than me.
And the last of his kind. No one's seen a Shay walk the realm of Tinil'Gan in millennia.
Indeed. So I think I'll, incline my head and say, peace, I am no threat to you. But if you have anything to add, it would be appreciated.
If anyone else wants to speak about their experience with Azrael, now would be the time.
No,
There's-
Hope's kind of like, she pisses people off too easily. I was already warned not to piss him off, so Taylor should do the same.
She looks. Isadora looks at the king. She turns. She kind of walks over to him. She places her hand on his arm as he's seated on the throne. She's like, "Your Highness, Another student of Azrael is a rare thing. And if he, knowing him and his obsession with prophecy, if my Denai has seek to involve himself in this one way or another, that does change things in time. Oh, Isidora, why? Your master is hidden in his tower longer than we've been behind our walls, and many are what people think that he has perhaps gone mad. I don't know if this is something we can necessarily take into account. And she looks at him again and she's like, you know his power. You know what he has done for your kingdom, your ancestors, your grandsires and their grandsires. And you know his name is in your history books for what he has done for the kingdom of the East. This is true. And Sulik goes, Your Highness, please, this is nonsense, this is drivel. Gideon once again. You see him stomp over. It's like, enough, Sulik. Boy, learn your place. I am the realm regent. You are merely a knight. And the king again. Enough! I have made my decision. We offer no quarter, we offer no funds, we offer no swords. We will offer you safe passage to the port of arms, to charter a ship across the sea, and that is all we offer. Once you leave San Saban, you are to make your way directly to the port of arms and leave swiftly on a ship. If you are not gone in that time, you will be thrown in our dungeons, and this little assistance I offer will come to an end. Is that understood?
Hope bows.
Yeah, I'll do another deep curtsy.
Also, on the bow, not the curtsy, just to clarify.
Yeah, Talus bows too. Just like a small one.
You all notice a smile appears on Gideon's face, and his eyes look even softer. And as he smiles at Isadora and then smiles at each of you as well. He seems very pleased that this assistance is being done. Isadora, you see very little motion from her. Other than a strange look of confusion. Not like she doesn't understand what's happening, but like she's torn.
Like she might want to come with us?
No. She's just torn with the events that are occurring.
Understandable with what Callie knows about her.
And that is a good place to leave off.
Yeah.
Not because I didn't have any maps or anything prepared for after this, but
That's why. That's 100% why.
We see through your lies.
Weird. That's the end of my DM's guide. Weird.
yeah. I mean my entirely homebrewed DM guide, for the most part. Yeah. I mean, I know I know where you guys are going, what you're doing, and I have the basic outline of it. I just need the physical places for you to go, and encounters and all that other shit. You know, the mechanic shit. What you're gonna do. But it's about time anyway. Usually we stop in about a half hour from now anyway.
Cool.
Yeah, anywhere between
So.
10:30 and 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Because I
Right.
work and I'm tired.
So
Right.
that's right. So what do you guys think of this first entry in the next chapter?
You threw 4 or 5 PCs from the book at me. I'm over the moon.
Like the only one they ran into Joseph and Azrael. Again, I love Joseph. He's like one of my favorite characters.
He's amazing.
Of course, no one read the book, but what I did from my role play, again, John hated him. John just didn't trust him either. I'm like, the fuck? John didn't trust anyone. Yeah, John didn't trust anyone.
Yeah.
Hope's trying
but-
to kill a bunch of PCs.
Yeah, but when you get to the Kingdom of Castellamar, this is where you would meet Gideon and Isadora and Sully.
Yeah.
So
And Sulik. I was like,
Yeah.
holy shit. And you didn't even make us roll. I was looking at my charisma going, okay, we can do this.
yeah, there's more. Again, like I know you're familiar with the book because you read it, but obviously the events taking place is determined by you guys, not them. So there's obviously a big change because they're not the main characters. They're the supporting characters. So you guys have to do stuff that they would do or fight off in a different way. So that's where the major homebrew comes in, because it's loosely based on the book.
So much.
I
yeah.
do have your book and my card on Amazon, by the way.
Oh, well, thank you. You didn't have to do that. Just like I told Harmony, you shouldn't have to do that. I was like,
I have it
blushing.
on Kindle and I have it in the bedroom, and I'm recommending it to all my friends. So you better start.
okay, so I also have a bunch.
I keep trying to think about this in the next series.
I still have a bunch. I still have about like 20 of these left here, physical copies. And when I was at the, because I started doing the training to be the bus driver with that company the other day, and they have a book. They have like a small little cart with like books on it for like if drivers want to read a book while they're there. And I was legit thinking that tomorrow I was going to bring mine and just kind of slide it in there.
Do it. 100% do it.
100%.
And I saw a few fantasy novels there too, so I'm like, well, it's not out of place, so like, it'll work.
He can even say I have fished at him a couple of times about when he's going to start writing it.
Yes. But again,
Well, see,
I explained.
Now we get the double pressure, and we'll figure out an editor for you, baby.
I explained why. It's
Yes.
like the actual writing part I could do. I mean, it'll take me longer considering all this other stuff I do, like the D&D stuff and everything.
Why?
But the actual writing part I could do, and I have the outline for the first 60-70% of the next book. I already have the outline out.
Just transcribe
But
our
it's-
sessions.
No, not the same. There's a bit. These characters, like the characters you're seeing here at the screen right now, especially Isadora and Gideon, extremely important. Isadora is technically the center of the book.
Well, yeah.
She's the main character. As much as I like to push Azrael as the main character, he's not. They're kind of co-leads, but she's the main character.
Interesting.
I'll let you know in a sec.
But yeah, the name, I just like the name so much. That's why we did the comic book, which is completely different. It's Lovecraftian superhero stuff. But I like the name. I'm like, what the hell? I'll just use the name. It fits for a comic book, so I just use the same name. But hers was Isadora and the Immortal Chains. So it's
I think I saw the cover in the channel, but I haven't investigated much.
that. It's kind of hard to see because it's in black and white and it's in the distance. But that,
And there's a big
I had-
glare.
That is so
yeah,
cool.
there's a big glare on it. I don't
It is, yeah.
do anything about it. But
That's cool.
I had a Mark McKenna is a colorist and inker who's worked for DC and Marvel over the last 35 years.
Mhm.
And I started talking to him, and he gladly did that cover for me for a very extremely reasonable rate for especially someone who is an industry pro. So
That's
he
rad.
drew that for me. And he drew it on he didn't do it digitally. He drew it actually on an 11 by 17
Wow.
paper. So
That's so
When I-
cool, actually.
when he did it, he's like, "You want the original?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah!"
No,
Great.
give me reprints. For sure, give me reprints.
Well, he meant other than the digital, because he knew the comic book was going to be the digital copies was going to be sent out to the printers. Not that.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll send it to you, no problem." So he sent it to me. He didn't pay extra for it; it was just part of it. So that I could have made that part of the campaign, but I'm like, no, that's mine. I went and spent $125 to get it framed, and I put it up on my wall. It's not going anywhere because that is one of one. That is the original pencils and inks for that cover. So, but yeah, I think I can show it to you. I think I have the. Yeah.
So what you're saying is that we're not role playing hard enough to be characters in your book.
That's what that one back there is. It's for this.
Oh, cool.
That's very cool.
Yes.
That was I did it two versions. I did the colored one, and then I did a virgin cover that's just the black and white with no logos or text on.
Cool.
That's very cool.
It looks awesome in black and white.
Yeah.
Black and white looks really good.
And he was nice enough, cool enough to where I'm like, hey, I want to get like a handful because I made these limited edition. It was only like 20 of the color one, or 50 of the color ones, and 20 of the black and white ones. Mm-hmm. And I had him sign 3 of each, so I have 3 of each of those signed that I was gonna put in my next campaign as signed copies. That they're only 3 of 3 of each one. But I haven't done that yet either because hiring artists and stuff is a lot of money. And technically you could do a Kickstarter and then pay them after the Kickstarter, but I like having everything done before the Kickstarter launches, which means I usually invest my own money into it. And lately I have not had the expendable income to invest at this time after the first 2 issues. So that's on hold too. And that's much easier to write too. I can write the 24-page issue in like 4 days, and that's taking my time. So that's not hard. That's why I did the comic book instead of the book, because the book's a lot more harder to do. But yeah, it's all the other stuff involved with it. If a publisher would notice it and say, hey, we want to publish it for you, I'm like, all right, and all I got to do is write, I'll be happy. Then I'll be like, okay, cool, then I can do it.
So spoiled.
But, yeah. Spoiled? Spoiled?
So back to D&D.
Yeah.
For Hope's when she's making the potions, I think what I'm gonna do going forward is I'm gonna say, all right, how many potions can I try to make while we're traveling? And then I'll tell you
it depends on the items. You got to find the items first, and that roll determines how many you find, which determines how many things you can make.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And you see, you cold. I'm sweating.
I'm sitting here like wrapping myself more in this stupid blanket because I'm freezing, but I'm also tired. So
yeah. This is the coldest room in my house too. So I have to bundle up in my CR merch.
But yeah, so that's it. But so thank you, Harmony, for joining us. Wonderful first session. Hope you enjoyed it. And we will continue from here and continue this now almost 3-year-long campaign. December it'll be 3 years that this campaign has been running. So
nice.
Only 2 original characters.
2 original players,
hey,
yeah.
At least there's 2 original characters left. You know. Well, look at it.
I would say 1 only because the other one's my wife. So it's like.
Hey, I was in the pilot one though.
She's not gonna just quit on me.
I was in the original, so I count.
You know what I mean. The reason why it doesn't count is because you're not just gonna quit on me. Like other players can and do.
Obligated?
No, it's not just obligated. She's loyal. She'll
invested.
She knows she's never forced. She doesn't have to play, but this is one way that other than doing whatever we do that we spend time together. I do this and have something in common that we can both enjoy and do too.
Yeah.
Instead of me hiding down here all the time.
It's the same way with me and my husband and playing in Exandria. So it's awesome.
So yeah, so that's it. I think we can end the stream here, and we will pick this up next Tuesday. Everyone's good for next Tuesday, right? Everyone can be here.
No,
just making sure because.
I won't.
Oh, you won't. That's right.
Yep.
That's right. You won't.
I will be in a hotel, but I will have my Chromebook, so I should be okay.
I mean, we could take the week off if you guys want.
Since Chris isn't going to be here.
If Chris is going to be here and you're going to be in a hotel, we could just take the week off and just play the next Tuesday after.
That'd be the 20. Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, as long as everyone's okay with that, we can.
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah, so we'll do that. So it'll be 2 weeks from today that we'll continue.
Alright.
And then we'll go from there. So yeah, all right, cool. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone who joined us in the chat. Thank you, Harmony, for bringing everyone into the chat.
Thank you, friends.
Yes. And we will see you guys 2 weeks from now for Souls of Magic's Dawn. And next Friday, not this Friday, for Rise of Tiamat. So thank you again. And until next time, so say we all.
Oh.